Hello, everyone. Let me improve the light, man. Oh, boom, there we go. All right. How y'all doing? I'm back again. Just wanted to drop a quick video on something that I know a while ago was on my agenda, and it had skipped my mind because a lot of more important topics have come up. Um, but I definitely want to document this in video because it's something that I firmly believe in. So, and the me when I was young would never believe that I'd be saying this now. Um, One of the things I want to do is put the power of discipline back into the hands of parents and put the discipline of children um, back into the households and not so much into the court system. You know, I come from an era where we got tore up. I've definitely had my share of behind whoopings, and I wasn't always perfect or anything like that, but I turned out to be a pretty decent and squared away adult. And the same applies to a lot of people that I know who came up in similar upbringings. They got their behind whooped when they were wrong. Doesn't mean that they lived a perfect life, but they're pretty squared away now. At least in most cases. Obviously, uh, beating your kids doesn't have 100% success rate. But spoiling your kids and letting them get away with murder has a much higher failure rate, I want to say. So, instead of letting your kids be unruly and having more say so and control than the parents do, and then either letting the justice system discipline your children or letting the streets discipline your children or put them in the grave permanently. I want to put the power of discipline back into the hands of the parents, back into the heads of the household. So there really shouldn't be any fear of going to jail because you whooped your children. Now, I get it. Not everybody believes in whooping your children. There are other methods of discipline that other parents exercise that more than likely works. And then there are those that fail. However, for those who do discipline, your children in a more direct and physical way, I want, or who would, I want that power to be, back in your household. What I mean? There shouldn't be a fear of, oh, if I beat my kid, I'm going to jail for child abuse, or I'm going to jail for, domestic battery or anything like that. There's a difference. There's a clear difference between beating your child to discipline them and just going way overboard, and abusing your child. You know, um, there's a difference, and there are also programs that I have planned for to detect a lot of issues early on with our youth. So if there were any signs of child abuse, it could be detected early and addressed accordingly. However, I think that child abuse needs to be more clearly defined and properly interpreted in the laws so that parents aren't afraid to beat their children when their children are acting up. You know, um, these kids shouldn't be able to call 911 and say, hey, go run into a cop or, whomever, because, they're about to get whooped for something that they did wrong. you know. Um, and I mean, I've seen it over and over again. Some of these kids have been very unruly, very disrespectful, uh, have even become criminals. And the parents was like, well, what can I do? The law won't let me beat them. The law won't let me discipline them. As soon as I go to put my hands on them, I'm gonna get arrested. That shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be a fear of any parent. So I definitely believe that the child abuse laws and similar laws need to be reviewed, revised, properly interpreted, to identify what child abuse is. I mean, it's just a fact of the matter, that if you get whooped with a belt, you may have a welt or two or a few on your skin. It depends on how sensitive you are. There are kids with some, rough skin, you beat them all day, and I'm not encouraging you to beat them all day. That's not discipline. That kind of exceeds, that's excessive force. But what I'm saying is that there are kids who have rough skin, who won't bruise, who won't, show any signs of being beaten, and then there are those whom you can lightly touch them and they have a bruise on them, or if you hit them the right way with a belt, or twig or whatever, they may have a slight cut or something like that. What I'm saying is that child abuse is we can really define for the most part what is discipline versus what is child abuse, and clearly allow reasonable discipline in a household for the parents to take charge. And like I said, there will already be programs in place to help children with all kinds. Well, I'm planning on having programs in place that are going to help children with all kinds of issues, but I'll get into that in a different video. But I just want to quickly state that, so that there's no concern about, what happens if a child is being abused, and they can't call 911. If a child's being abused, there's going, pay attention to some of my future videos, and you'll see, there's a lot of things that programs and things that I want to have in place that will guarantee early detection of a lot of problems, or even prevent certain problems from happening. But in this case, I definitely want to bring discipline back into the household, put the power back into the hands of the parents, and not so much into the hands of the courts. And this, I think that that's very important. To continue to build structure in some of these youths, because all you got to do is look around and you can see, the youth today is pretty wild. They're off the hook. So let's get that squared away. Let's get the switches back into the hands of the parents, the belts back into the hands of the parents. Moms, don't be afraid to throw those shoes. Don't be afraid to throw those shoes. Just try to have a little bit of mercy. Don't throw the ones with the hard wooden heels or whatever. Unless it really is warranted. No, I'm kidding. But let's bring discipline back into the household. Put that power back into the hands of the parents, and instill some fear in these children so they can stop acting a fool. And that we can bring them up right, and not have to worry about the justice system having to do the discipline for us, or the streets permanently putting these kids in the ground to where they never get a second chance to learn from their mistakes. So that's just one of the things that I want to do, and I had to put that out there before it got buried under all of the other things that I plan on doing with the country and everything. So thank you for watching this video. One of the things I haven't said in previous videos and stuff like that is, if you're liking these videos, click the subscribe button, click the alert button. But I always encourage that if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or anything like that, go ahead and drop a comment down in the comment section. Again, we can debate, we can talk back and forth, whatever. Just keep it clean, keep it clean, keep it professional, so on and so forth. We can agree to disagree without being enemies and all that good stuff. Thank you for your time and have a good one.